You already do it? Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're going live. Look, we're live.
Hey, hey.
Hey,
What's
everybody.
going on?
Wednesday night, and here we are drinking hands. Hope everybody is having a good Wednesday so far. In case you don't know us, this is Dale, and I'm Wendy. We are husband and wife, realtors. We own our own brokerage. I have my real estate channel. We've been married for a whole 31 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anybody want to know what kind of week we had?
A little crazy. Started Sunday.
Okay, it's been a little crazy. So I just have to tell you this real quick because it is who we are. This is real life. So we went to church on Sunday. Everything was fine. And when we got back, our teenager son said, Mom, my room is flooded. And it was our entire lower half of our house, like about half of it, was flooded with water. And and to make it better, we had company coming over for our older son's birthday. So
what made it more fun.
That's what made it more fun. So so real life. So like we had a flood at the lower level of our house, and then we had company on the main floor, all expecting to be fed. So it's been a fun week, and it's been an adventure. It's always an adventure for the Pinnell clan. Please tell me in the comments if you've ever had that happen, the whole flooding thing, because it's just no end of fun. Anyway, we wanted to talk to you guys today about the crazy market we're seeing. I was just talking with a buyer today, and she was like, Wendy, usually, you tell us, from like March on, that the market's going to get stronger. And is it that way? And I was like, well, it's kind of weird this year. It's
not strong in January.
Yeah, the man makes a point. Okay. Which is weird because we don't usually see strong in January. We usually see like a dead market, and we did negotiate some really great deals. But yeah, so it was like kind of vibrant in January because rates had come into the sixes, and now in March, it really kind of stalled out. We just kind of saw everybody kind of come to a halt, like what's going on here? And it's because of inflation.
Mm-hmm. The economy, the economy still looks, I think it still looks good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're worried about inflation.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Fed is like, oh, we can't lower rates now. And, so like we have this stagnant market. So I'm looking at market data. And sure enough, I'm seeing prices come down in some areas, and I mean, come down a lot. Okay. And then, so I was looking at that, like, and I'm talking recently, I'm not talking like, I'm just talking like this month, last month, seeing prices come down. And then I also looked at like mortgage applications, and those, were down. Inventory's up, but expireds, a lot more of expireds, so expired is like when a listing, doesn't sell until the listing just expires. Yeah. And so I pulled together a lot of data. I wanted to show you guys the data on like where these prices are coming down. But I also wanted to show you kind of like, okay, so this isn't usually our April, right? And so kind of wanted to show you guys why that is. So let me show you this slide. Powell says Fed is just at the beginning of policy easing talks. Okay, so this was December, right? And this is where everything, all the hoopla hit in. Okay, let's see here now. The Fed. Okay, so the Fed held interest rates steady for a third meeting and gave its clearest signal yet that its aggressive hiking campaign is finished by forecasting a series of 3/4 point rate cuts next year, which was more than economists expected. And so this is where 2024, this is kind of what started 2024 off weird.
Well, and that, if you even go back further, all of 2023, they were all expecting rates to come down at some point during that time. So and it never did, not tremendously. And then they mentioned that and said, oh, here they come now, finally. Yeah.
Everybody's waiting with bated breath, and the Fed finally is like, hey, we might do this, So markets embraced the more dovish tone by the FOMC and Powell and are now pricing in, okay, and here's where it all started, the likelihood of the first rate cut in March. Where is it? I've yet to see that rate cut.
Well, it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. It just didn't happen. And so, instead, so we have people already, and then we see rates. So not only do they not get their cut, which really stinks, but then, mortgage rates start going up, right? And that's,
they went up over 7 in April.
Yeah, they did. And it's affecting prices. I mean, I did a lot of research today. It's what I love to do. I'm a researcher at heart. I love data. I looked up all the counties, and I'll show you that here in a bit, but Denton County, in Aubrey, some of the builders there accepting prices at like 83% of their list price, right? So if it's listed at,
100.
yeah, I was like, I'm not even going to try to do that. So if it's listed like 100,000, they'd be accepting offers at like 83,000, right? And I'm not talking back either. I am talking like last week.
Yeah.
Last week in Aubrey, a builder closed with 87% of list price. So this is not like a far, looking back thing. This is like right now. Okay. That doesn't happen in April. I was like, it's just this weird thing. I mean, in April, we see everything going up. We see the market picking up steam.
Well, and so they started building more to kind of get ready for the demand they thought they were going to have.
Yeah.
Then there was also, owners actually selling homes too, thinking that there was going to be demand. And then thinking, well, okay, we're just tired of this. We're going to move anyway. And so we had a little bit of pickup in pre-sale and builder inventory. And so now here we go.
Yeah. I mean,
and then we didn't get as much. Our demand was in January, February. So
I think like old folks like us, I mean, okay, we're not senior citizens by any means, but we together bought our first house when I was 21, right? And interest rates were 7%. And nobody thought anything of it.
Yeah, do we want to go back to the 80s? Was 18%?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like an element of people that are just kind of like, hey, rates need to come down, but do they really? Yeah. I mean, I will tell you, when we bought our first house, like we went from, our rent was like at an apartment was $395. We bought a house and our mortgage payment was $515. So that's how much closer affordability was back then. And we looked a long time, like there was plenty to choose from. And we had a VA loan, so we didn't have a down payment. Just incredible. So, I mean, so sometimes I do wonder, hey, do rates really need to come down? And I think, some of those articles are saying that. In fact, let me show you this. Let's see here now. Let me put this article out here. And this really kind of touches on that. It says Fed's cash carry says quiet to part out loud. Maybe no rate cuts in 2024 if inflation continues to move sideways, right? So nobody wants to hear that. He says, if we continue to see inflation moving sideways, then that would make me question whether we need to do those rate cuts at all. He said in an interview, there's a lot of momentum in the economy right now. Maybe, I think maybe that might be up for discussion. I'm not entirely sure.
Interpretation or opinion or
Okay.
Depending on who you talk to.
If the economy continues to grow as it has, powered by consumer spending, it also raises the question of why cut rates? Why cut rates at all? And I think I have actually read articles that I think, like you mentioned, like consumer spending, but I've read articles about like credit card debt being like at an all-time high.
Yeah.
So I think
it's not cash spending, it's debt spending.
Yeah, I think so. And so I think like we interpret, that we, there's all this consumer spending when it's all this consumer debt. So it's not really like matching income, it's more matching debt. So I think, it's just a really interesting correlation there, them thinking that, that they don't need to raise rates when we are seeing or need to lower rates. Lower rates. Let's see let me take a look at this article.
But if there's so much pent up demand though, that if you did lower rates, you're probably just going to send prices sky high.
I think there's some truth to that. I think there's probably a lot of truth to that. I think I do think that Dallas is very interest rate sensitive, and so I do think that when rates go down, I think we'll see it. But a lot of people make it look like it's going to be like it was in 2021. I don't really think it's going to be like that, because we have so much more inventory now. I mean, we have caught up. We have so much more inventory that I don't think it's going to be like that. But anyway, so this is, question of the hour: is the housing market housing market canceled? This article: mortgage rates over 7%.
It's never canceled.
Yeah, but okay, so the title is Spring Housing Market Canceled. Okay, not that the whole housing market is canceled, but that idea that it's going to race ahead. Mortgage rates over 7% and heading higher. Housing market still frozen. Lots of buyers on strike as prices still too high. I love this paragraph because it's just so encompasses everything. It's such a great paragraph. Mortgage rates continue to trudge higher from the abandoned rate cut mania. I love that, rate cut mania. And it really was low. Mortgage rates rose to 7.13% in the latest week, the highest since early December, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association today, as the 10-year Treasury yield has resurged amid the Fed's, you ready? Vigorous backpedaling on its December rate cut visions after the presumed vanquished inflation raised its ugly head again. So that's really great. Yeah. Great imagery there. It's reared its ugly head again. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I think that there's a lot there. There's a lot there to unpack. I mean, you've got, because you have to think about the fact that the Treasury yield affects mortgage rates as much as the Fed does. And then we've got the Fed,
more.
Yeah. I mean, then you've got the Fed backpedaling on something apparently they shouldn't have said in the first place. And one thing I really struggle with is why in the heck did they wait so long? Why did they let inflation get so carried away in the first place? Because we wouldn't be in this position if they'd lower rates way back. Anyway, so I want to show you the data. Okay, I want to show you the data that I found on pricing. So what I did was I went in and I evaluated all the different counties. I looked for where we were seeing price drops, and then I just grabbed a few. Okay, there's a lot more, but I just grabbed what we had time for. So in Denton County, in Aubrey, some of the builders are accepting offers as low as 83%, with your average acceptance rate of 87%. So don't go to Aubrey and pay 100% of list price on new construction, okay? Because they'll laugh all the way to the bank if you do. Collin County in Lavon, okay, 87%. Some builders are accepting as low as 87% of list price. The average acceptance rate is 89% in some of these communities. Okay, so we're talking new construction. They got a lot out there, okay, and they're having to come down on price. And again, these are not small cuts. We're not talking about coming down maybe 3% or what. This is significant. It's so interesting. And as we go through this, you're going to see that where we're seeing these price cuts, okay, these are where we have too much new construction, that we are just flooded with new construction. Next one in Dallas County, Mesquite, 88%. Some builders are coming down, 88%. Your average is 92%. So the average acceptance rate in some of these communities, 92%. Okay, nobody's coming to 100%. Rockwall County, Royce City.
Oh.
Yeah, this one blew me away. Now, Royce City's got a few nice communities, but this particular community that I was looking at, I was kind of more or less a little shocked.
That's most of the communities out there are new construction, though.
Yeah, a lot of new construction, and I've seen some gorgeous homes out there in Royce City. But yeah, so some of the builders there accepting offers as low as 70% of the list price. 70%. Do it, math wizard. $300,000 house. How much are they getting that house for?
Less than $300,000.
Oh, stop. No, you don't get away with that. You're the math wizard. So, okay, somebody throw it out there. 300,000. What's 70% of 300,000?
It'll be 279.
Oh, that's only 10%, right?
No.
Anyway.
21.
Okay.
21,000.
Anyway, big
What?
price drops.
Said 30,000.
Yeah, 300,000.
Oh, wait, no, okay.
1,000. So 210. I think it's 210.
Yeah, it is. It's
did I
210.
win? I think
It's
I won.
210.
And he's a math wizard.
Whatever.
Yay, I did the math first. Anyway, Royce City, some of the builders, 70%. That's got to hurt. Some of these communities, in this one community that I saw, that 70%, the average acceptance was 76%. So in that community, that particular community, that builder's not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Really willing to come down on price. So 76% of list price, that's the average. So the last thing you would want to do is go into that community and pay 100%. Like, you do not want to go in and pay the list price. Okay. you just don't. All right. All right. So let's see here now. Kaufman County. My goodness. Forney. All right. Forney has so much new construction there, man. And you hear that the traffic is just really building up. Okay. Kaufman County, Forney, 84%. Some of the builders are coming down to 84% of their list price. Average acceptance rate, 93%. So some of their communities definitely showing too many houses, not enough buyers. Okay. So this kind of flies in the face of the, inventory shortage crowd. Okay. Tell me what you think in the comments. Ellis County, Midlothian. Some of the builders coming down to 87% with their average acceptance rate, 87%. Okay.
Ton of inventory down there. Yeah.
Midlothian, so much inventory down there. And I think, one thing that comes to mind is like this focus is on new construction, right? What about our pre-owns?
Mm-hmm.
Our individual sellers, think about what they're going through, because they're sitting here, there's all this new construction and they're having to compete with that. And they don't have the deep pockets to accept 70% of the list price, right? So not only are we seeing like in these various areas, we're seeing, the builders come down in price, and then the pre-owns, oh my goodness, they're just stuck because they don't have that flexibility. They can't just, a builder has, 1,000 homes. They can come down on a few.
They're staying on the market much longer.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so we're definitely seeing, and in that, I think kind of explains the data too, why we saw we're seeing longer days on the market, inventory sitting there, expired. I mean, these pre-owns, it's a tough time. I should say though, again, this is not across the board. If there's anything about Dallas, there are areas that are hot, so it's not always like I did this research, these are our weak spots. And there were others, I will say plenty of others where I saw weak spots. But these definitely came to mind as our ones. So found prices going down. So that was one thing I was looking at. I also wanted to look at mortgage applications. I wanted to see where we were. Kind of that, to me, that drives us forward. If I see mortgage applications, right, that drives me forward. Like we have buyers entering and usually like I would expect that, right? I would expect like we would have mortgage applications like way up. So I did a little bit of research on that too. And I have, housing market still frozen because prices are still too high. Mortgage applications to purchase a home have been wobbling near the record lows set in November. And then again in February, in the data going back to 1995. And I love this in these sentences. The cute mini spike after the holidays during the waning days of rate cut mania only lasted a couple of weeks, though it created all kinds of hoopla and didn't really budge much from record lows. Okay, so we did have that little brief pocket. This is how far mortgage applications to purchase a home have plunged from the same week in the prior years. And I should point out, by the way, this is from the national perspective. So it's important to always not confuse that. So what are we seeing nationally? Purchase a home have plunged from the same week in the prior years, a sign that the housing market remains frozen because prices are still too high. Affordability. While many potential sellers are still thinking this too shall pass, many buyers have gone on strike. So, if we look at this data, it's talking about how far down mortgage applications are year over year, right? So from 2023, they're down 10%.
Right.
From 2022, down 43%. From 2021, down 51%. And from 2019 down 48%. I think they intentionally left, COVID year out.
Yeah.
A little bit of an abnormality there. So that does not bode well. That again is at a national level, right? I didn't find that information at the local Dallas level, but I think so that really does speak volumes though for kind of where we're at collectively, that mortgage applications are just down. All right, so what else? I was going to show you guys the actual data.
Are those small enough?
I know. Oh, do you hear him? He's such a smart aleck. Yes, I'm sorry that it's small.
Okay.
He always puts. Okay, I have to say this. I cringe when he puts on his reading glasses. They look a little dorky. I just hate that. I'm like, stop it. You look old. I have contacts, so I don't have to do that.
Whatever.
Okay. So active number of listings. This compares it from 2022, 2023, 2024. And I do want to point out, obviously inventory was low in those years, right? So 2022, right? We were in March, we were still at a high inflation. Like we hadn't really come down yet. We hadn't corrected yet.
We're still kind of correcting from the problems from the previous 2 years and stuff too.
And by the way, now this is local data. So we're not at a national level anymore. This is specific to the Dallas area. 2022, we had in March, 6,458 active listings as of 2022. 2023, we're up to 12,000. And then 2024, 16,000. So do you see that we do have people putting houses out there and the houses are sitting. So we have inventory that's coming out. So the sellers are like, yeah, let's do this. They probably got ready when they thought rates were really going to drop, because if you think about it, selling your house takes time. So they all hear the hoopla. And,
or even typically this time of the year to put the market on, put your house on the market.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd been thinking about moving and everybody's talking about how rates are going to come down, then they list their house. And you can see the same is true with April, 7,700, then 12,000, and then this year, 19,000. Okay. So just to all we have such a housing shortage crowd, and I'm not completely denying that. Okay. I think, there's some validity to it. But this is a lot that's out there. There's a lot out there right now. Okay, so this is the number of new listings, right? So I showed you the number that were already out there active. Now, these are the ones that have just hit the scene, okay? In March, we had, in 2022, same time, 8,300, then 8,400, and this year, 9,500. And so this is new listings. In April, 9,300, 8,200, 10,000. Okay, so you can see active listings are up, new listings are up. To me, that's very logical. I think that sellers got excited, and planned on, okay, it's the time to sell because those rates are coming down in March. This is the number of sales. Okay, so the number of sales compared to the number of inventory. Okay, so we've got so much more inventory out, and we see that, in 2022, we had 6,700 sales. So think about that balance compared to there being way less inventory. Okay. And then in 2023, 6,700, 2024, 6,200. Okay. So we're down on the number of sales, right? That's not like a huge difference. Yeah. But think about comparing that to how high.
It's more than that. I mean, less than that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But think about comparing that when everybody talks about the housing shortage. Think about comparing that to the numbers I just showed you right here. Okay. These numbers of the listings. Right. Okay. So you had like 6,000, 12,000, 16,000. Okay. So when you compare that active number of listings to how many that are actually selling, okay, that's a huge difference. All right. Everybody, the sellers all put out, the big party gear, and nobody's coming to the party, and the prices are showing it. We're seeing some prices go down. Okay. So this is expired listings. How many homes went for sale and never sold? Okay, so we had 6,600 2022, 7,000 in 2023, 7,100 in 2024. Then 6,000 in April of 2022, 6,200, 6,800. So yeah, so the expireds are up. The expireds are up. The days on market are up. The number of listings are up. Again, I should emphasize, you got your hot areas where it's not nearly such a picture as this, where you don't see it, which is kind of typical for Dallas.
But yeah, it's the hot areas where everybody wants to move to or whatever, but it's also the homes, the type of homes, and how much they're upgrading them, what they're doing to them. Those are the ones that are going faster.
Yeah, that is true.
So yeah,
that is very
newer
true.
homes or older homes that they're upgraded.
Well, and that is true. When we've been selling pre-owned homes, the ones that have got the bells and whistles, they go pretty darn fast. The fixer-uppers, they languish. The worst are the ones that are in between. Like they're not quite low enough for the investor, and yet they're not all fixed up. So they're what we call dated but functional. Okay, those are the pre-dated but functional. Nothing broken. It's not like a massive fixer-upper, but you got to put up with wallpaper.
Yeah.
You might have to put up with dark brown paneling. Those pre-owns are hurting. That's a hard one. Those are really on the market. Do you like wood paneling? Personally, me, no, not so much. Gosh, one of our houses had paneling. I think it was our second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Built-ins are nice though. Wood built-ins.
That is true. We had so our first house was a 1970s because we wanted a big backyard. That was like a really big deal to us. We bought it without a realtor. It had foundation problems. Okay, 1970s home. The guy didn't give us a seller's disclosure.
Southeast Arlington.
It was Southeast Arlington. And we had foundation problems.
For foundation problems.
At certain times of the year, our doors wouldn't even close, So then we decided, we had 3 kids. When it was time to upgrade to a bigger house, had a realtor, didn't know what foundation problems looked like. And we bought another house. We found another one that had horrible foundation problems. It was really bad. It was in DeSoto. And same thing, just terrible foundation problems. The doors wouldn't latch. It had, a foundation warranty. And then we called them out and they're like, well, this isn't the part that needs repair. It's these other parts. And by the way, that's going to cost you another 10 grand. So our first 2 houses were just horrible foundation problems. I always tell my buyers, I'm like, no, let's not do foundation problems. We're going to tell you where it is. We don't, really encourage against it. And it's because we've had that personal experience. And they run by neighborhoods. Like in both of our neighborhoods, like all the houses had foundation problems. That runs because your soil's the same, and your builder's the same. Anyway, that's off topic. What is going on?
Way to go off on another track.
sorry, that's just like a real
What were we talking about again?
Well, I want to know why are things different from 2023 to 2024? If we had high interest rates then, why is everything lower now? Like why?
Because people are still, I don't know.
Come on, genius.
We're trying to feed them a dream and we didn't get them. They were expecting the dream.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it. So I don't know. But I mean, I'm kind of with you though. We could be back in much higher inflation in the 70s and 80s and higher rates then and stuff. That's why they didn't. You were asking why they didn't do this sooner. Well, because they're worried they were going to do the same thing that they did in the wait too late. And
I'm honestly not convinced that we need to see rates go down. I think we just have this preconceived notion now that rates have to go down. But if they don't, we see a more stable price appreciation.
It was probably nice if it was in the 6s, but yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't not the 3s, not the 4s, But I think when we compare last year to this year, part of that is that at this time, rates were like at 6.34.
People would pay off their debt. There's plenty of good income. If they would just pay off their debt, then they could afford more. So
I think too that we have to talk about how builders contribute to this because they do. And it's like a two-edged sword because they do these things like the forward commitments, right? And they do rate buy downs and they've got the pockets to do it.
Yeah.
But what would happen if we didn't have those, right? If we didn't see these builders rolling out all these incentive packages, would we actually see home prices come down? We struggle with affordability, but our builders are constantly saying, it's okay, I'll give you a 4%, then you can afford it after all.
Yeah.
So it's like if we were actually literally stuck with these 7% rates, would we finally see, a little bit more
just stabilization?
Yeah. But when they come in here and okay, like I said, it's a two-edged sword. Okay, because
so do they know what a forward commitment is?
Do you guys know what a forward commitment is? Okay, if not, you should have been here last week because we explained that. Okay, forward commitments are awesome. They really are. For getting you into a house. But for the economy at large, okay, they prevent housing corrections, right? Because they make us think the dog wants his food.
Oh well.
It's like, oh, I have it right here. Sorry, guys, our puppy's right here at our feet, and he wants his supper. There you go. Okay, I'm a dog person. I just love our dog. He's so cute. Should I bring him up here?
No.
Okay, come on. Everybody might want to see him. He's really,
don't.
really cute. Do you guys want to see my dog?
No.
He's really adorable. Okay, well, I can't now because he's eating. Anyway, okay, what was I saying? Because I lost my train of thought again.
About the forward commitments.
Yes. Okay. If you want to afford a house, okay, a forward commitment is a beautiful thing because it's just a fixed incentive. You don't get any say about it. It's just 4%. Okay. And they'll just tell you that. And it's about the property. It has nothing to do with you. Okay. You still have to qualify. I'm not saying you don't, but you don't get to decide, well, I want to put this money towards this or this money towards that. The forward commitment comes with a tranche of houses. And, if you happen to find the houses that are within that tranche, then you can get a 4%. The cool thing about it is that the seller can also pay your closing costs. So you can get a 4% as well as the seller paying all your closing costs, right? And so do you guys see how that's like a double-edged sword? Because it's helping people get into home ownership, and they probably can genuinely afford it at 4%.
Keeping the prices high, yeah.
But it's keeping the prices high. And so it's keeping the pain away from, this big correction or anything like that. And they have the deep enough pockets and it profits enough for them that they do it. Last week, when we were talking about this, we were talking about how we weren't seeing that many. And I think it was because builders honestly thought the rate correction would get them there. I think, the rate rates coming down. But just over like from last week to this week, okay, I actually saw 3 come in. Who was it? It was Ashton.
D.R. Horton,
I wrote it down. Oh, yeah. Ashton Woods, K. Hovnanian.
Yeah.
K. Hovnanian. And was it K. Hovnanian that was also in Levon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So makes sense, right? Because in Levon, they're motivated. It's K. Hovnanian, D.R. Horton, and Ashton Woods were all offering the forward commitment. Okay. So, oh, look, somebody wants to see our dog. Well, I could show him anyway. Okay, I'm going to let him eat his dinner. Anyway, all right, you want to answer some questions?
Sure.
Okay, we got a lot of comments here, and also one of them says that she wants to see my dog, and so, of course. All right, first comment, that picture. What picture?
Probably talking about.
I know it's not you in your reading glasses.
When we first talked about it in the beginning.
Take your reading glasses off now. Yes, I know he's not talking about that. Okay, I don't know what you mean by reading glasses.
Confusing housing market, rates drop, it didn't drop, all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, the picture of that. Yeah, okay, I get it. Okay. Rhonda says hello.
Hello.
I think
that's her. That's her.
Thank you. Hello. Okay, everybody knows that's how I usually start.
Then she's going to say, "Oh no."
Yep. Oh no. Okay. Yes, she's talking about the water leak, and somebody else down here says, "Was it clean water or dirty water?"
Clean water.
It was clean water. Okay. Still smelled a day after, like it didn't take long at all, and you have this mildewy smell. We're having to rip up all of our flooring, and I love that flooring. I really did. I mean, it was just the most pretty. It was like really expensive luxury vinyl plank that was supposed to last us forever and be indestructible, and we got it in 2020.
A lot of it's still good. We'll use it someplace else.
Yeah, it just broke my heart. Which, by the way, okay, 2 of our kids are currently without a bedroom. So they're going to camp out in the living room because they have this water in there, and it gets worse. Okay, something happened with the electrical from the flood to where the electrical is tripped, and
we learned that wasn't done properly. But yeah,
their hot water. So the hot water heater for their bathroom doesn't work either. So
cold showers are good.
So our 2 of our boys, they don't have, they don't have bedrooms, and now they don't have a hot water heater either. So we're just having all kinds of fun over here. Okay. All right. Let's see here now. What is the current conventional rate and jumbo rate today for mortgage rates?
I don't know.
That is an excellent question. And I know sometimes it differs.
For jumbo?
For the, yeah.
And jumbo.
So the master over here has his laptop. He's going to look it up. Okay. He's going to look it up. Okay. What are your thoughts for the Sherman Van Alstyne area? They were in the running, okay, when I was seeing the price drops, and Van Alstyne has good schools, okay, and you can get, the further away you go, the more of a commute you have to put up with, the lower the prices. And so you can get a lot of bang for your buck in Van Alstyne, and they have good schools there. So it's just all about, like if you work remotely and you don't have to worry about getting to the hub, or for example, getting to the airport, right? If you don't have to worry about that stuff, Van Alstyne's very nice. It has a very country feel to it, and you can get homes on big lots, and you've got decently rated schools. So it's definitely something to consider. It's just, you're going further and further north. So that's your real big issue. You're getting further and further away from the Metroplex. Is that a fit for you? Did you find anything on?
I don't know.
He's looking up. We need our preferred lender to log on here so he can tell us.
Here it is.
Did you find it? Okay. Does 7% back then and 7% today have the same meaning? Yes. Yes, it does. Same mortgage
Are you
rates.
asking about what was income like? What was salary? I mean, income like, or inflation and stuff like that? Was that different? I mean, some people say that, okay, yeah, we don't get as much if you compare our income now, and the buying power is not as good. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I completely agree with that. It's been going up quite a bit. Actually, they've raised the the rates, the salary rates quite a bit, the hourly pay rates quite a bit, and things like that. So
I don't know. Affordability is so off, though.
Inflation at the point that we bought probably was not the same. But if you go back further, when the rates were even higher, inflation was much higher than it is now. And
that's a good point. That's a good point. When we bought, so our first house, 1993, I think, kind of a fun story about that. We were in this teeny tiny 1-bedroom apartment, got pregnant. He just got this scared to death look in his eyes and said, "Oh my gosh, we have to buy a house." I mean, it was literally like that, instantaneous. He was freaked out. And so that's how we became homeowners, and I was only 21. So, we bought the house for $54,000, right? And again, we were able to come really close. All right, so back to our question here. Current conventional rate and jumbo rate.
30-year is 7.2. Let me check jumbos. He doesn't show jumbos, but I have another guy that shows jumbos.
He's looking it up. Okay. So I think in answer to your question, I think so. Now we bought with a VA loan, right? And it, it was like 0 down payment, and it was 7%. And we were able to buy a house, okay, at 7%.
Yeah.
At 7%, guys, we were able to comfortably afford a house that cost $54,000, which, okay, is back in 1993. But still, that speaks to our affordability problems. Yeah. I think in a big way.
Jumbos are about 7.25 also. So,
okay. Yeah. Back then, nobody whined about interest rates and said, "I can't afford a house because of these interest rates. This is too unaffordable." Nobody did that because it wasn't true. Like, you could buy a house for 7% interest rate, and it was a nice house. It was a 322, huge backyard, horrible foundation problems. So it did come with that, but we just didn't know any better. Yeah. Okay, so thoughts. Trey Jacobs says, thoughts on Trinity Falls. What should the houses be selling for in that neighborhood? Wow. The master can look it up here. It might take him a bit. Trinity Falls is beautiful. I just love that area. A lot of trees.
McKinney's very nice.
Yeah. Just in general, McKinney is nice. The schools don't have the best of ratings, but it's very popular because of its location. But I love Trinity Falls. We negotiated a great deal there once, only to find out that they wouldn't allow a home sale contingency. And it was kind of a layered thing where one said that they would, and then you get up to the management level and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we won't." And that was a bummer because we had negotiated so hard based on the sales consultant saying they would. But yeah, beautiful area, Trinity Falls. Love it. All right. So Alex says, just joined. What are these 2 columns for? Okay, so I'm going to assume that you're talking about these. Is that what you mean right there, Alex? I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but basically this is the lowest. The 83% is the lowest price I found. The 83% of list price is what I saw builders accepting, like the lowest I saw them accepting. And then in that same community that I was looking at, that builder was accepting 87% on average. So if you averaged out all 10 houses, that were sold, he never got 100%, of the list price, unless it was someone who just really didn't know any better. The average acceptance rate. I just think that would be such a tragedy if you went in there and you didn't know what houses were worth, didn't have a realtor, or had a realtor that didn't help. What a travesty that would be. Go in there and pay, 100%, not knowing how much these builders are coming down. So I think that would be a real tragedy. But yeah, so if that's what you're talking about there, it's the 83% is how low builders have been coming down. This one, builder, and then that same builder accepting 87%. Okay. Alex says, does Forney have a chance someday to be a popular area as Frisco prosper?
No.
I don't think so.
The big difference between those two is Frisco, is what's there. The businesses, you got the entertainment up there, you're all close to, so what's around there too, Plano, North Plano has where all the headquarters have moved in, that whole area right there at Sam Rayburn and the Tollway. And Frisco starts just south of that. And then also the PGA's moved in up there. Universal Studios going up there.
Yeah.
There's.
And I think there has to do with the balance too.
I mean, so yeah, you're going to move. They tried to move one of the major golf tournaments down southeast. It didn't work out. So
I think that Forney too, I think you have to hold on to a balance of your real estate. And I think they've put a lot of emphasis on your lesser expensive. I mean, I like to see a city where it's balanced, where you've got, you have an affordable element too, but you've also got really nice ones.
Actually, they've even built some communities down there that are for predominantly rentals also. So which reduces the value of homes as well. So yeah.
Now I do think Forney has good location in terms of proximity to downtown.
Nice neighborhoods.
Proximity to downtown, I think, is strong, and I think like if they ever sort of resolve their transportation, their infrastructure issues, I think you would see an improvement for sure, right? So you're there already. Boom, they put in new highways, or they widen it, or make it more accessible. I think that would really help it a lot. Because it's just got some traffic issues that I think frustrate a lot of people. And I do have people tell me, I don't want to go that far north or that far south because it's going to be so, because of the traffic. They'll be like, oh, I've heard the traffic is bad. Okay, Chuck says, clean water or dirty? Thankfully, it was clean, but the minute it hit the floor, not anymore. I mean, let's be real. It's all over the floor. It's all over the kids' library books ruined, just like all the furniture's wet on the bottom. And what, for the son that didn't put his clothes away, stinks to be you, because now your clothes are all wet. That's what you get for leaving your clothes on the floor.
All right. If you're going back to Trinity Falls, do you want to go back to that?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a big difference depending on, or prices range from 1.2 million down to, in the 400s, but median sales price for what's currently listed is $650, but median sales price for what sold in the last 90 days though is $520.
Woo!
So there's
Yay! I love it.
There's definitely some good opportunities out that way. And now you're starting to see some, because Trinity Falls has been around for a little bit now. And starting to see some pre-owns and stuff. I've seen quite a few in the lower 500s out that area.
Wow, so, that is great to hear. So huge difference
between depends on what size home in the area you're looking for.
Yeah. Ooh, that is good news. Okay, so
not very. In fact, in the last 90 days, the highest priced home was 800,000. So not very many of the bigger, more expensive homes selling. So yeah.
Okay, I came to my favorite one.
There's your pup.
All right, you got to close down the screen so they can see. This is literally the most adorable dog ever. Okay, isn't he so cute? Oh my goodness, he's so adorable. I mean, like you just can't resist a face like this. He gets whatever he wants because he's so cute. Isn't that just the cutest dog ever? You'll note he has two collars. That's because one of them is a Wi-Fi collar, because when he gets scared, he runs away. Like, we literally cannot let him out on July 4th. Yeah. Or he will bolt. Anyway, his name is Sammy. Isn't he cute? He's just so cute. Okay, I'll put you down. All right, I'm very much a dog person. We have another dog as well. Not quite as cute, but I still love him too. But he's the cutie one. Okay, let's see here now. All right, by the way, would everyone like to tell me how cute my dog is? Please comment. Because I know you're agreeing with me that you've never seen a cuter dog. Okay. Can price be negotiated if you aren't financing and don't want to over upgrade the house with incentives? Any other incentives for cash buyers? If it's yes, new builds are harder. Kat, that's what I would say, Kat, is with new builds.
Cash is not going to be as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cash, probably the main, well, from a pre-owned standpoint, it's nice because they know, okay, you have cash and you're just going to pay for it. Also makes for quicker closings. But in new builds, I don't see as much of a...
Because they're not going to get paid for 8 months anyway.
I mean, if it's an inventory home, maybe. Possibly.
Inventory for sure. Absolutely. You get a deep discount for inventory. You want to make sure, and you want to make sure that they're not just necessarily putting it towards your closing costs, because your closing costs aren't going to be that much. So you want a straight hard reduction on the price. So cash, definitely. So cash, if you see 3 arenas here, pre-owned, inventory, new construction, and new builds, you're going to get a deep discount on 2 of those, right? You're going to get a deep discount on inventory as well as your pre-owns.
And it just depends on the motivation of the seller.
That is true too.
Because if the seller has to find another home to buy too, they may not be wanting to close fast.
That is a very good point.
But if you can wait and you have cash, that might fit just fine.
Yeah. So. All right. So Susan says incentives for cash buyers in Springtown area. It's going to differ so much depending on who you're buying from. If it's pre-owned, if it's builders, right? And plus cash buyers, you don't really see that. Like even like say it's new construction. They don't throw out there, oh, by the way, if you have all cash, I'll discount it this much. It's more that it's negotiated, right? Because we come in there and we know we're like, we have muscle, right? When we're going into an inventory home and we know they want to get rid of it and we know we've got a cash buyer, we can negotiate a lot more aggressively and successfully, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean, but it's hard to quantify it without being in that like specific situation, right?
Springtown.
But I would say depends on exposure, depends on how fast homes are going off the market, right? How much inventory there is. Probably in this climate, you'd get a really good discount. Dale's looking it up right now.
There's a lot of inventory in Springtown.
All right, Glenn says, with builders offering great buy downs, why would anyone or what would anyone buy used? I mean, I think that's a great question.
What you want.
Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of buyers who want, huge mature trees. Maybe they want a pool that they're not going to have to pay for.
You don't often get the same character of an older home if you like that. Depends on what you like in the areas.
But you make a good point. Pre-owned individual home sellers can't compete against the builder putting out a forward commitment. It's hard. That's why the pre-owns, unless they're in a really strong location, it's hard for them because they can't do it. They can't say, let me offer you a forward commitment, and they can't do a deep discount. Because they're not a giant corporation that balances it all out. So I think it's a good question. I think sometimes people buy it based on their commute requirement. If you have to commute and you don't, if you're like remote work is not an option. All right. In order to get good new construction, you've got to go a bit.
Yeah,
it's on the exurbs,
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to commute to downtown Dallas, you're going to have to accept a hefty commute if you want new construction. So that's another reason too. Okay, Kat says, for new builds. Yes, new builds because the builder doesn't get paid for another 6 to 8 months. If that's what you mean about like, you don't get as much of a deep discount. Yeah, I mean, we've come in strong with cash buyers on a new build and they've just said, so what? We're not going to get paid anyway. They're kind of like, we don't even know if you'll have that cash 8 months from now. That's kind of how they look at it. So we don't get...
If you're building from scratch, yeah.
If you're building from scratch. So that's what we call the new build, is the building from scratch. Okay, let me see here now. F. Stinson says, is there any hope? I love it. Is there any
There's always
hope
Well,
for getting a 3,000 square foot home for less than 550,000 in Prosper ISD? I say ISD because you could be in McKinney, Prosper, or some parts of Salina. I would be thinking what immediately comes to my mind is Sutton Fields. That's what I think about because you've got your lesser expensive builders in there, like D.R. Horton. But I don't know that D.R. Horton would build a home that big. But I would say, like, that's where I would look. Like, as far as I know, that's one of the least expensive.
550 for 3,000 square foot.
I think he said, 3,000. Yeah. I mean, what does Sutton Fields have to offer? And did you say, is there any hope? Did you say that you wanted it to be new construction? Doesn't say that on there. He's looking it up to see.
Well, just for listings, 3,000. There are some.
Okay, so in the pre-owned realm,
maybe. Well, some of these could be new construction too, but because it's some of those areas, you'd have to dig into a little bit more. But yeah. So it looks like there are in the pre-owned realm. If you want a lower price range in the new construction, like I said, Sutton Fields is one that you want to check out because it's in Prosper ISD, and it's, as far as I know, it's one of the most affordable ones in Prosper ISD. Well, yeah, I can't say that. 3,000 square
The
foot.
new construction, not finding it.
At 3,000, we're in the 700s.
Oh wow. Okay, so maybe not even in pre-owns. He's looking.
So, yeah.
So probably not in pre-owns. Yeah, it's just that Prosper
The
ISD
lowest
now.
I see is there's a 605, but yeah.
Now I will say this.
But Sutton Field, she's right about Sutton Field. So yeah.
Now I will say this. I will say that Prosper ISD gets a lot of hype, and Wiley ISD has better ratings. Okay. Now, granted, it's not the prettiest of entrances into Wiley because it's got a lot of stuff that's grandfathered in. Wiley doesn't have great highway access, but their scores, their school scores, are way higher than Prosper ISD. But you just don't hear
Salina
about
will be
it.
catching up, I'm sure.
Yeah, we hope so.
Though their prices are kind of catching up too, though. So.
All right, let's see here now. Doesn't the Fed need to keep the rates higher for longer in order to curb the demand? Otherwise, inflation takes off again.
That's what they're thinking. Yeah,
that's what they're thinking, and I just don't.
It depends on how you look at the numbers, and yeah,
it's like people don't. I think that there's this idea that they have to lower when when we were young, 7% was the norm.
Maybe just
maybe
just let the economy in general just kind of run itself.
Yeah, but 7% was the norm back then. And like that one guy said, he said, why do we even need to think about this if the economy is going smoothly? Why do we need to? Yeah. So I think there's this general perception that they have to come down, that the rates have to come down, but maybe they won't. Yeah, I think they have to be wise because we do not want to have inflation like we did in the 70s.
Yeah.
They got to be careful not to.
That's what they're afraid of.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, let's see here now. So, Z Mag Paloma, hi there, says if a builder offers to pay your realtor when listing your home, do you?
I see. Okay.
Will I have a fair representation if a builder offers to pay your realtor when listing your home?
The realtor that's listing the home for you, you still get. Yeah, of course. I mean, though, if you're talking about the listing agent, the one that's listing your home to sell, yes, you're getting fair representation. Yes.
Well, yeah, because it's a little confusing what you're saying there. Like you're saying the builder offering to pay when listing your home. Do you mean when it's listing their home, like the new construction home? Because like for example, when we do new construction, the builder pays us, representing the buyer,
right?
And we 100% represent the best interest.
That's true too. So
yeah, we almost emphatically.
If a real estate agent is representing you, yes, you have to have. It's by law and by the ethics codes that they agreed to when they got their license. They have to.
Yeah, I mean that is the technical truth. Yes, does it always happen? No.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
I mean, there are just like in any industry, there are definitely some that are not as good.
You see a lot where they just want to get it under contract as fast as they can. They encourage you to accept whatever price the builder says they'll do, and they just want to move on to next, And so I think if you think about it, like especially like an individual realtor that's all they're doing, they're having to do marketing plus helping you find a home, plus monitoring you while you're under contract. So there's a lot more of a push there, I think. Like with our situation, I do predominantly the marketing. Like I do the videos. That's my thing. And it's what I love to do. And then Dale does more of the showings and the administrative part. And then we have Bree and Blake as well. And then we have an assistant behind the scenes. And so it all depends. But for us, it's very absolutely, we're going to put the buyer first, 100%. I think that sometimes the sales consultants see us coming and they know exactly what they're going to expect. And Dale walks in there and they'll greet him by name, but boy, they know that he's going to negotiate. So, and he's very good at it. Thank you, my dog.
Maybe he was talking about, no, never mind.
He was not talking about you or me. He's talking about the dog. The dog is adorable. I mean, just like the cutest. It's just his face. He's so cute. And yes, Rhonda also says that he is too cute. He 100% is adorable. I'm sorry, but he is. We got him from the animal shelter. So I don't know why anyone would ever have wanted to abandon him because he is just adorable. Do you think Fannie and Freddie will reduce the requirements for the borrowers to reduce the affordability barrier? That's a good question.
There's lots of talks about things going on with some of that right now, because of changes in the how commissions are done and things like that. Or it doesn't really change the commissions, but it changes how they're advertised and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but so there are talks about some of that. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think too, this whole idea of the real estate commission changes, I think they're going to have to make some adjustments there too.
Well, especially in VA.
Yeah. Oh yes, especially in VA. Okay, he is cute. Thank you, Kat. He is adorable. Thank you. See, I tell you all the time, he's like the cutest dog ever.
Oh, they have a Wi-Fi collar.
Yes, the Wi-Fi collars are the
towards.
best. I'm telling you, because just the few times that he's been scared and run off, we can know exactly where he is. And we have like a really, really big yard. And so there have been times I've lost him in our own yard because it's so wooded, and I can look on the app and now like he's behind the shed, like I can go look because we have like a lot of trees, a lot of wood. So we he's just a very skittish dog, but he's really cute. So it's okay. So let's see here now. Chris says thoughts on Lennar build quality. Like Preserve at Honey Creek area in McKinney, salespeople in the office are not that great. I'm actually going to be doing a video on Lennar soon. I've been doing a whole series on new construction builders, which by the way,
we'll just leave it to that. I'll let you.
Which by the way, if there's any builders you'd like videos on, please comment and let me know because I can add those to the series. But Lennar really doesn't welcome realtors. They would prefer that you go to them directly, and they'll kind of say that on their website. A realtor isn't necessary. We recently had a buyer go under a contract with a Lennar, and it was an excellent chance for them to get their foot in the door with homeownership.
Yeah, they're good for they're really good.
Affordable.
A lot of times they're really good for first-time home buyers. Things like
I would say it's the kind of house that you might buy as a stepping stone, but not to retire in because those systems are not going to last as long. It's just not as good of a quality. It's a lower end product. We did encounter a lot of almost like not even almost, it was kind of deceptive negotiating tactics, right? With the one that our buyer, it was not in Preserve at Honey Creek. And I would also suggest to look at the reviews, really read the reviews that you find online. Look at Google reviews because they will give you the review just strictly for Honey Creek, and then also look at like all the bigger ones too. So that's what I would say. Okay. Hi, how about Frisco and Prosper? So I did not, are you talking about when I did like the price reductions? I did not do them partly because Frisco doesn't have as much new construction and partly because I wasn't seeing really deep discounts. So if I wanted to feature like houses that are coming down, 93, 94% of list price, I could have done it. But I was just finding one in the 70s and ones in the 70s and 80s. And I was like, okay, those are really, really interesting.
Well, let's see. You're talking about what's actually sold.
Yeah, it just depends on what you mean by how about Frisco and Prosper. There's a lot of demand for that area. But if you're talking specifically about price reductions, I wasn't seeing them. That's one of those areas you would categorize as hotter right? That you won't see those deep discounts. And also Frisco doesn't have all the new construction, right? Because we know that's what drives the inventory up is that new construction. All of the ones where we saw those deep discounts, they have, city councils that are so pro new construction that they just allow thousands of homes to be built. And there's not enough absorption for that. All right. Rhonda says, Lennar is on my bad builder list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Let's just keep it at that and watch for my video to come out. And I'll go through the contract and everything on that one.
Frisco's average, well, they kind of stayed up 99%.
So they're
last 90 days.
Yeah. So their offers are being accepted on big city, the entire city, not by community, but by big city, 99%.
Look at just 30 days.
He's looking at 30 days too. So, but if you looked microcosm, by community, which is what I do, might find something different.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, because there are definitely some different areas, and there's older areas and all that.
All right. So Chuck says, agreed. Dated but functional houses are a no-go because they're usually priced too high and sellers are unwilling to negotiate. Well, it just depends. It depends on if you can find them motivated, if their houses have sit on the market for a while, because we negotiated some outstanding deals this December, January. I always tell my buyers, if we submit an offer I'm not embarrassed by, then it's not a low enough offer. So that's kind of my my approach to putting in offers. If I'm not embarrassed by it, it's not low enough. And we put in some low ones in like in the fall and winter months with pre-owns, and they agreed. They're worried about their pipes freezing when the house is vacant, especially. So if you run into that situation where you've got a vacant house, it's cold, there's this wild card of they know they have to keep the utilities on for the inspection, but oh my gosh, what if there's a freeze and all the pipes burst? So it just depends. I mean, some have too high of an opinion of their homes. It's like they're just not realistic. But
depends on the area.
Yeah, it just depends. It just depends. Okay, so Trey says, how is Coventry's build quality?
Coventry's
is it worth it?
Decent quality.
I will do a video on them as well, so we can go into what the contracts actually do, in what way they're predatory. I will say, as I was doing my research, I did find Coventry coming down on prices. So they have generally good reviews. They make nice floor plans, and I haven't had any of our buyers be like, "Oh, I hate the quality on this one."
They're listed, so they're kind of listed with the high level builders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And what we've seen from clients and inspectors, they're listed as good quality.
Yeah. Do you expect that some builders will file for bankruptcy soon? I think
builders.
I think that is an excellent question, because how much longer can they keep on putting out these forward commitments? And knowing that they've got a lot of inventory. I did recently read an article about a builder who'd filed bankruptcy, but I don't remember who it was, and it wasn't like an area, a builder common to this area. But I do wonder, it'll be interesting to see, as long as they can do those forward commitments, they're able to keep plugging along. And yet, even with those forward commitments, you still see a lot of things sitting. It just depends on the area.
I think it would.
Mm-hmm. Trey says, how's the Coventry build quality? I don't see a lot of videos made on them. I will make a video where I review them. We'll talk about what kind of sheathing they use, whether it's T-ply or zip. Go into all the things. We'll go into the contract forms, right?
They're not as widespread in this area,
but I believe
they're usually in some nicer neighborhoods.
I feel like I saw in South Point, maybe in Mansfield, I saw some Coventrys that might have been coming down on price. I'm trying to remember, because I was looking at all the different communities trying to find my biggest price drops. And I feel like maybe I saw that there. If so, could be a good opportunity. We'll see. All right. Chris says, thanks. Looks like Lennar has different premium collection called as Brookstone. Is that bad quality too? I just think in general, they have bad reviews for a reason. Read the reviews, read what people say about the build quality. And if you can find a realtor that will negotiate for you, all the better. just an example of what we encountered was our buyer went there first, and they were telling him, that they were going to give him a special price if he signed right then and there. And then we looked it on MLS, and that price was listed on the MLS. So it was just completely dishonest. That the sales consultant was just completely being dishonest about it. And they did that several times. They kept putting out these deadlines. You have to sign today. You have to do this right now. You have to. So it was very deadline heavy, very high pressure. They really don't want realtors involved. And so if you don't have a realtor, you're going to succumb to that pressure. Okay. That was our experience with the one. Okay. Riverside build quality.
We haven't run into them as much.
Yeah.
I see they're out in the, like you call it, exurbs and stuff, further west, further south.
Yeah. Let's add that to my list of ones that I will review. How about that? We'll do a video of them. I'm basically building a big library of all the different builders. And that's one that I can add to my list. So I know I'm going to do Coventry and I'm going to do Riverside. Part of the problem sometimes is if we haven't closed with them, they tend to be reluctant to send me their contracts. But anytime I close anything with any kind of contract, I save everything. But we'll see. I know Megatel has been really bad. I've been trying to push for one of their contracts for a while. They just won't give it to me. Trey, thank you. You guys are the best. Trey, I had a client once named Trey Jacobs. I'm wondering if you were the same person. Let's see here now. Recently, did you see many closings where both realtors received only 1%? I'm not sure again what you're talking about. I guess the listing side and the broker's buyer side. No,
I can't think of any right now.
Yeah. I think as a pre-owned home seller right now, if you were to put out, maybe say, well, I'm not going to pay, the buyer at all. I think you might get some pushback on that because buyers aren't ready yet to pay their own commission. That they might there's enough out there in the pre-owned sphere that they might be like, well, why would I view your home when I view all these others where my realtor will get paid instead of me having to pay my realtor? Things are about to really change in mid-July. In mid-July.
Well, I still think there's going to be some paying from the seller side too, because you want to bring in quality agents to represent quality buyers.
Yeah. And if you've got a buyer who's not going to be able to pay their realtor, then if they see a house,
limit how many buyers how many opportunities you have for selling.
Yeah, because I think the whole idea behind paying a commission is it's part marketing, and so okay, Riceland Homes Quality.
Places, but I don't.
That's another one. I just added it to the list. Yeah. I added it to the list of ones that we'll do video reviews on. And
you just don't, the ones that you're bringing up, we just don't see them. They're not as widespread in this area.
Yeah, they're just not as
they're usually out further out. So. Or in real small communities or something. So, yeah.
F. Stinson says, thank you for these sessions. You're welcome. If you listen closely enough, you can hear the drill and the demo going on outside of our door for all of the people. They're cutting out drywall, they're removing flooring, and we're in here having a blast. So.
Are we? Okay, yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is fun. Okay, everybody bring your drinks because that just makes it funner. Okay, he says again, thank you for doing these live streams. We enjoy them, and it will be interesting. It will. Orlando Miller, tell me more. I know. Hey, do you want to do a video together sometime? Because I know you're a YouTuber. Tell me if you would like to do a collaboration. I'm going to be doing one with Travis Spencer with Real Estate Mindset. We're already working on that. Love to do one with you as well. So speaking of doing these live streams, guess what? Next Wednesday, we have plans.
Same bat channel.
No, we have plans. Next Wednesday. Tell me you've not forgotten our plans.
I don't know.
He doesn't remember. How could you not remember this? Okay. Next Wednesday, our grandbabies.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. 2 of our grandbabies. We have, oh my gosh, we have 5 altogether.
We're graduating.
Yes, are graduating from their Awana program. So we will not be here next Wednesday night at 6:00. I'm thinking maybe do Tuesday at 6:00 instead.
Yeah.
do Tuesday instead. So don't look for us Wednesday. Instead, look for us on Tuesday. Okay, let's see. I love Orlando. Yes. I watch your videos too, Orlando. And Travis, yes, collab with them. I've already been talking to Travis about that. Let's see. That would be absolutely bonkers. No, that's like, no, on my channel, you have to say, well, hello. That's like our trademark. We don't say bonkers. Oh, he says bonkers. All right, you guys. Well, I guess we're going to call it. Orlando is a great look. Orlando, like, are you getting this? Like, you are feeling the love.
There you go.
On our live stream, Orlando is feeling the love. I love it. That's great. I have to tell. And if you guys like Travis as well, I have to tell him, hey, we talked about you on our live stream. Okay. So I guess we're going to call it a night because it's 7:10 and we haven't yet had dinner.
So long.
All right. So everybody, and Rhonda says, love to see collabs. Okay. Well, they are coming soon. All right. Well, for now, we will talk to you guys next week, Tuesday night. Can we do it? Tuesday instead of Wednesday?
Are you guys okay with Tuesday night?
Yeah. You guys okay with that?
You may have to be.
Yes. We will be here. And Orlando says, thank you, everyone. Yes, you're a very popular person. And thank you for popping on to our live stream. We appreciate it.
See you.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you later.
Thanks for coming.
Next week. See ya. Bye.